Few things test your faith like watching your bank account shrink. While you're convinced God has called you to something bigger, you pray, you work hard, you stay faithful, yet the doors refuse to open. And you begin asking God, if this calling is really from you, why everything seems to be getting harder instead of easier? What if that's not a sign you've missed His will? What if it's part of how He prepares you to carry something bigger? Let's look at what Scripture actually says. 1. God has allowed that financial pressure to reveal what is truly in your heart. Financial pressure has a way of exposing what prosperity often conceals. When everything is going well, it's easy to say we trust God. But when resources become scarce, our deepest fears, priorities, and dependencies are revealed. This is exactly what happened to the Israelites after they left Egypt. God intentionally led them into a wilderness where there was no food, no water, and no visible means of provision. Yet Moses later explained that the wilderness was never meant to destroy them. God already knew their hearts, but the wilderness revealed their hearts to themselves. Their complaints, fears, and doubts surface because pressure exposes what comfort hides. In the same way, financial pressure often reveals whether our confidence is truly in God or in the security that money provides. 2. God has allowed that financial pressure to refine your character. God is more concerned with preparing the person than promoting the person. Joseph received dreams of leadership while he was still young, but before those dreams were fulfilled, he experienced betrayal, slavery, false accusations, and imprisonment. None of those seasons looked like progress, yet each hardship was shaping qualities that a ruler would need: integrity, patience, wisdom, humility, and dependence on God. Had Joseph been elevated immediately, his character would not have matched his calling. Likewise, seasons of financial pressure often become God's workshop, where He develops perseverance and faithful stewardship before entrusting us with greater responsibility. 3. God has allowed that financial pressure to reveal who truly belongs in your life. Hard seasons expose the true nature of relationships. Naomi lost her husband, her sons, and her financial security, leaving her with nothing. In that moment of complete loss, she urged her daughters-in-law to leave and pursue easier lives. Orpah departed, but Ruth remained, declaring, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay." Ruth 1:16. Poverty revealed loyalty. It exposed who was committed out of love rather than convenience. Financial pressure has a similar effect today. It often reveals which relationships are rooted in genuine care and which exist only while life is comfortable. Sometimes, God uses scarcity to refine not only our hearts but also our circle. 4. God has allowed that financial pressure to reposition your circumstances. Sometimes the very thing that seems like a setback is God's way of redirecting us. Elijah was sustained by ravens at the brook Cherith during a drought, but eventually the brook dried up. At first glance, it looked like God's provision had failed. In reality, the dried up brook was God's signal that it was time to move. The Lord then sent Elijah to Zarephath, where his next season of provision and ministry awaited him. If the brook had never dried up, Elijah might never have left. Likewise, God sometimes allows financial resources or familiar opportunities to disappear. Not because He has abandoned us, but because He is repositioning us for the next stage of His purpose. 5. God has allowed that financial pressure to prepare you for a greater assignment. God often prepares people in hidden places before placing them on public platforms. David was anointed king while he was still a shepherd, yet he spent years running from Saul, living in caves, and surviving with very little. Those years were not wasted. They taught him dependence on God, leadership under pressure, discernment, and humility. The cave became the classroom for the throne. In the same way, financial pressure may be one of God's preparation seasons. Before He entrusts greater influence, greater resources, or a larger assignment, He often teaches His people how to remain faithful with little. As Jesus said, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." Luke 16:10. God's preparation may feel like deprivation, but its goal is to produce people who can faithfully carry what He is about to entrust to them. Throughout Scripture, God never wasted a season of pressure. He never allowed hardship without purpose. What looked like delay often became preparation. What felt like loss became the foundation for something far greater. If you're walking through financial pressure today, don't focus only on what God is taking out of your hands. Pay attention to what He may be building inside your life. The season you're living through today may make complete sense only when you look back from the assignment God has already prepared for you. But here's something even more fascinating. What if your preparation didn't begin when your finances became difficult? What if God had been preparing you long before this season? Long before you even recognized His hand in your life? When you study the lives of Joseph, David, Moses, Esther, and even Paul, you discover that God often begins preparing his people in childhood, using experiences that seemed ordinary, painful, or even completely unrelated to their future calling. Only years later did they realize that none of it was accidental. That's exactly what we're going to uncover in the next video. 7 signs God was preparing you since childhood, before you even knew him. If you've ever wondered why certain experiences, struggles, or patterns have followed you since you were young, that video may connect dots you've never connected before. I'll meet you there.